And welcome to the final part of the Megaman 2 Let's Play. And as you see by the really irritating sound effect from Dr. Wily's capsule and the why does he move his eyebrows like that? And can people actually do that in real life? So if not, Wily's got some awfully strong eyebrow muscles. Anyway, every time you have a level in the Wily Castle, that pops up, the little man thing, which it's a nice touch. I like it. And one of the most iconic musical things, probably the entire NES era. I don't know if I'd say most, but it's up there. The Wily 2 Stage 1 theme, I like it, but I don't know. It doesn't do as much for me as it does other people. I like it a lot. It's definitely it's definitely pleasant to listen to. Anyway, the way the Wily Castle levels work is basically the game, since you have to have all the bosses defeated and all their weapons up to this point, the game now expects you to use more of them to like really progress to areas. And I like that. I like being forced to use what you have. You can't do that for the normal levels, because, well, first off, I'm going to show you why they call these guys Tojos. Just get on the ladder, get in the right spot, and you just spam the crap out of your Mega Buster and they're dead. But yeah, that's the thing with the Wily levels. It's like, because in the normal levels, I can't really expect that, because you could take any order. That's kind of the problem with having a non-linear structure, is that the player can do any order they want to, and that's part of why people like Mega Man. But it does create some problems of its own, and in this part you want to use Item 1. Not Item 2, Item 1. And you have to be a little careful though, you need to have the third Item 1 set up so you can carefully jump to the ladder. It's actually really easy to screw that up. And if you do run out of ammo, you're either going to have to like kill enemies over and over and over again by like forcing them to respawn, to like farm up enough ammo so you can use Item 1 again. And that's kind of the problem with this, is that your weapon energy doesn't refill in between the stages in the Wily Fortress. So it's kind of a gauntlet. If you get a game over, all your weapon energy refills up. You don't have to start the whole game over. You'll start back at the last Wily level. So that's nice. Anyway, we have this Mecha Dragon here. Because you're on such a narrow platform, if you get hit by anything, you're dead. I believe touching his horns is like jumping on top of those is like also instant death. So the main thing is just keep spamming your Mega Buster or whatever weapon you're using. Technically the quick boomerang does the most damage, but there's really nothing wrong with the Mega Buster. He goes down really fast, and that was on difficult mode, where basically enemies have double health, so... But, it's a lot easier than it looked, especially in that example, to get knocked off. So just keep that in mind. I would pay more attention to like the things the dragon is doing than actually actively trying to hit him. In this part, you need to use Item 2 because those spikes are also instant death. If you wait a little bit, you can get that E-Tank intake, which is really a much better path. You get this extra life and all this ammo back. So that's really nice. You could get those, but those require using the Crash Bomber, and I'm gonna try to not use that for a very special reason. Most people that are veterans in this game know why. There's a special boss coming. It's not the boss of this level, but the boss a few levels down the road. It requires pretty much all of your Crash Bomb ammo, and if you're not at max, you can't win. So, we do see the return of the chandeliers. Though they don't really use it in a way that's any different from Metal Man stage, so that's kind of disappointing. This is definitely not my favorite Wily Fortress in the entire Megaman franchise. That probably goes to 3, maybe 7. I know, controversial opinions saying anything good about 7. I'm using time to get this health upgrade because I could definitely use it. You don't need to, but it's nice. And now we're at the boss of the second area, which according to the wiki is called the Pico Pico Kun. I have no idea what that translates to. Technically his weakness is the bubble lead, which it actually does more damage in hard mode than normal. I wasn't using the bubble lead when I recorded this, but it's something to keep in mind. I've seen a lot of people use quick boomerang, just because it fires so quickly. Anyway, you just have to destroy each individual part as it comes up, but when the blocks are forming together, they can still deal a lot of damage to you, so I would be very careful of that. And then, obviously, every time you kill them, it shaves off some of his health. And they get faster and faster the more you kill them. It can get, especially if you're low in health, it can get really, you can start sweating bullets towards the end, but because it's like you don't know if you're gonna make it or not. But you see there, you made it just fine. It's harder than it looks, so don't get too flustered if you're having trouble with it. And now this is actually my favorite piece of music in the game right here. You get more crash bomb doors. You could blow through those if you wanted to. I'm not going to. We do have some more ammo items here. So fill out whatever you need. Whatever it is. Whatever you think you'll need to. But what I like about this song is just it's so driving and it feels very intense. I mean, it's probably not as catchy, but I still really like it. Anyway, these fish things, they seem to be immune to almost anything that's not the quick boomerang. Like, even the Mega Buster doesn't really seem to damage it. I don't know why. These spikes are instant death, so you want to, when you're going through that first section, you just want to barely tap to the left. And that should be good enough to get you through without getting killed. Now, this part, you want to go down here, then hold right. Because that will help you avoid those spikes right there. But yeah, I feel like the intensity of like the baseline really fits what we're trying to avoid getting caught by the spikes. Actually, I think this is the shortest level of the Wily Castle. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Because we're already at the third boss. And we're taking on the Guts tank. And his weakness, as you can see here, is the quick boomerang. At this point in the game, you already have all the items, so I don't really need to, like, just use the Mega Buster. I mean, I used the Mega Buster on the 2 previous fights, but, so it's not entirely consistent here, in terms of my playthrough, but I feel like it's not a big deal. And you see, that was on hard mode, so on normal, he goes down even faster than that. And now we're on the 4th level. And this is probably the one that people like the least. And I don't blame them for that. Remember the boss that I said that required all of your Crash Bomb ammo? And if you didn't have it, he's impossible to beat? Well, he's coming up. So, you know, I would be prepared if I were you. Anyway, the gimmick of this area is that there are invisible floors all over the place. You're really meant to use the bubble lead because it's a ground-traveling weapon, so it will fall through any invisible floors. And that's really how you're meant to figure that out. But I won't act like they still can't be annoying to try and traverse through. And yes, above the spikes there are invisible floors, so be careful. I had enough of invisible floors with Castlevania 2. Fortunately, there's none. We're past the invisible floors now. Anyway, don't drop down immediately, just drop down when you're sure you can get on this platform, otherwise you might miss it and fall into a pit of spikes, and that would be bad. Like, really bad. And you're going to see different patterns of, like, this basic concept, just different variations of it. Nothing too hard. I have the metal blades out so I can just deal with these dudes anytime they decide to come up, because it's really the only weapon that aims from any direction. I mean, you could use the leaf shield. I haven't really used that in this playthrough at all, but there really hasn't been much of a need to. Unfortunately, you can't speed through these sections. There's really no way to without getting yourself killed. What I like to do here is use item 2. You can wait for it to kind of come back, then jump on it, then jump to the other side as fast as you can. But I just prefer item 2. We're not really going to use it for much else in the game at this point. Well, with these guys, I use the air shooter, knock them down, and then just take out the Joes. Because the mech guys are really annoying if you try to take them out the hard way. Now for this, we're going to get a spot where there's a Joe in a really tight hallway, and there's no really good way to kill him without taking damage. Unless we use a fully charged atomic fire and just blast the crap out of them. That's the only way to my knowledge that you can get through that part without getting hit. And also beware of the mechs that can easily respawn. Because, you know, you can just move to the left and it'll just show up again, and you have to deal with that one. And sometimes you could get the same one respawning, so you could have 2 or 3 on screen at once, and that's just really nasty to deal with. And now we're at probably everyone's least favorite boss in the game, and I don't really blame them for it. This is the Boo Beam Trap. The only thing this guy's weak to is the Crash Bomb. Now this is more of a puzzle boss fight. Now puzzle boss fights are kind of neat. You can't really do them too much in Megaman, especially in the normal levels, because there's no guarantee you'd have the right special weapon that it would require. Anyway, only use the Crash Bombs on the doors I'm doing, because if you run out of Crash ammo, you can't win. These guys can only be destroyed by the Crash Bomb, and nothing else. Literally nothing else works on them. They're unkillable with any other weapon. And I'm kind of being a dead horse with that, but it really requires drilling in your head that you just can't get greedy with your Crash Bomb ammo. You have to be as conservative with it as you possibly can. Now in this last part, some people like to use like item 1 to get up to the top part. I always just jump up there. I actually find it easier because the Boo Beam Trap will like usually just shoot at you while you're on item 1, then knock you down, which is really annoying. But I took care of him there. The main problem with that boss fight is running out of Crash Bomb ammo, and then you basically have to commit a game over intentionally just to get your Crash Bomb ammo back in. That sucks. Like, that's not fun. So yeah, it's my least favorite boss fight in the game. What I did there is I edited out. What happens is that Capcom requires you to go through a gauntlet of all the Robot Master fights you'd already seen, and I've already shown how to beat them. At the end of each of those boss fights, you get a health upgrade, so you can restore some health you lost. You already know the weaknesses of what they are, so you don't really need to see them. So there's really no point in showing them off, so I just edited that out. Anyway, when that first section, actually its weakness is the Crash Bomber. It does a ton of damage to the thing, but we're out of Crash Bomb ammo from the previous fight, and I haven't gotten game over yet, so, I can't really show that off unless I wanted to kill myself. In the second phase, I like to use the Quick Boomerang. It's not his weakness, but it deals damage quickly enough that I find it suitable. And the Wily Machine's it hits pretty damn hard in the second phase. I find the bullets it shoots out are nearly impossible to dodge. The hitboxes on those are just weird. I've never been able to figure it out. Maybe it is possible to dodge them, but I've never been able to myself. Anyway, this acid here hurts, so don't touch it. And you just keep moving to the right. As long as you keep moving to the right at a decent clip, you should, well, speak to the devil. Anyway, time to face Wily for the final boss fight of the game. And he's an alien? What? Yeah, it turns out he's an alien. Okay, the only thing that hurts the alien is the bubble light. That's literally it. Nothing else works. So if you don't have bubble light ammo, you're gonna have to intentionally kill yourself off to get game over. If that happened, I'm really sorry for you. The bullets it shoots out deal tons of damage, and depending, like, if you're on difficult mode, even touching the alien itself can probably kill you. Like, with the health I have, it probably would just one-shot me. So, don't do it. I mean, it just goes around in a figure 8 pattern over and over again. So there's really nothing to worry about in that regard. It's not really hard, it's just, if you make a mistake, the blowback can be pretty severe. But I don't find it terribly hard to make a mistake. I don't find it hard to not make a mistake in this fight. You can usually get two shots of bubble light off at once. Oh, it was just a robot alien. Okay, that makes more sense than Wily being an alien. But yeah, that's the final boss of the game. We're done. We're over with. I think it's time I'll go over a little mini review of the game. Maybe at some point I'll write up a full review and maybe I'll share it with you guys. But for now, I think Megaman 1 Megaman 1 was a pretty decent game, but I think 2 definitely improved on it in a lot of ways. It's just, mechanically, the experience feels tighter and smoother. The levels, they feel like they were designed, like they were tested beforehand, instead of just kind of slapped around and thrown in by what seemed like a good idea at the time, kind of like what one's levels can give the impression of being. There are a few elements of cheapness, namely the booby trap. That's the worst. Don't ever do that again, Konami. And there's really no need to have the boss gauntlet with the Robot Masters that you've already fought again, but that is a classic Mega Man staple. So it's something you have to put up with to like the series. But despite those flaws, I still think it's a really good game, and I come back to this game usually about once or twice a year. I definitely think this game's superior to Mega Man 1, and I would say a few other games in the series, but this game isn't my favorite. I know that's sacrilege, blah 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 blah. But if it's your favorite in the series, I don't think that's an indefensible position. I mean, I like the music, I like most of how this game looks, though I don't like how there's some pretty bland background art design some places. But classic Mega Man's always kind of had that problem. It's not Castlevania, so boo. But yeah, overall, I think the guys at Capcom did a really good job with this game, especially at the time it was in, because so many NES games were so bad around this time. That this is definitely a gem in what is a... I know people have nostalgia for the NES era, but a lot of games in that era are really bad to the point I almost want to refer to it as a dark era. No. Not the most popular opinion in the world, but whatever. I still think that this in particular is a great game. I still enjoy it a lot. If you're looking to get into platformers, I don't think this is a bad entry point. So yeah, that's all I have for this time on this playthrough. I'll see you guys next time.